For the last 50 years, global wealth was built on cognitive labor. Technical expertise, data accumulation, and scientific market exploitation were the primary currencies. Work moved from factories to drafting tables and early desktop computers, prioritizing what you knew and how well you could process information. This knowledge-based model built a multi-trillion-dollar global economy. It currently employs over 1 billion people worldwide to write code, conduct complex research, and map out strategic plans. But artificial intelligence is cracking that foundation. Modern AI systems now handle highly non-routine cognitive work, reviewing legal documents, interpreting medical images, and performing sophisticated data analysis in seconds. The impact on the human workforce is immediate. In 2025 alone, major tech firms like Google, Meta, and Amazon laid off over 130,000 knowledge workers, citing AI-driven efficiencies as a primary driver. Information is now ubiquitous. When complex analysis is fully automated, simply possessing facts is no longer a unique value proposition for a human. This is a chart showing the new AI-driven workforce hierarchy. Non-autonomous AI assists junior workers, raising the bottom productivity floor, while autonomous AI shields highly skilled workers at the top. But look at the middle. It is being commoditized and squeezed out entirely. The mid-level analytical skills that the global education system just spent decades training adults to perform are disappearing from the market. If machines flawlessly handle the know-what and the know-how, we must ask, what becomes the ultimate scarce resource in the global economy? The answer lies in the emergence of the wisdom economy. This is an economic model where value is driven by the human ability to synthesize complex patterns, navigate unpredictability, and apply nuanced contextual judgment to difficult problems. The knowledge economy strained for the next big idea, often operating with a growth-at-all-costs mentality. The wisdom economy, by contrast, prioritizes long-term sustainability and understands the concept of enough. In daily practice, this manifests as the wisdom advantage. It starts with the art of the question. Wise users generate superior outcomes from AI because they know how to frame prompts with deep contextual and strategic specificity. Then there is ethical complexity. AI systems reflect the biases of their training data and lack intrinsic moral frameworks. It requires human wisdom to safely interpret these outputs and anticipate the ripple effects of deploying them in the real world. AI is not rendering human input obsolete. Instead, it acts as a powerful force multiplier, expanding the reach and impact of individuals who possess the complementary wisdom to guide it. Historically, there was a barrier to this transition. Building a multi-trillion-dollar economic model around an intangible trait like wisdom is difficult, especially when traditional self-reported data is highly susceptible to bias and self-deception. This radar chart shows the SWIS, or the Situated Wise Reasoning Scale. It successfully measures wisdom. Instead of treating wisdom as a fixed trait, it assesses how individuals adapt to specific, concrete scenarios across axes like intellectual humility and perspective-taking. Organizations are now taking this quantifiable data and applying it to corporate governance through frameworks like the Wisdom Model. This standard demands that executives demonstrate deep self-awareness, authentic action, and a holistic perspective on the systems they manage. Individual leadership pivots mirror this shift. Bill Gates, for instance, moved from a reputation for competitive dominance to one of global philanthropy, a transition from functional smartness toward a more systemic, value-led perspective. Wisdom has moved from a soft philosophical ideal into a rigorously measured operational metric that dictates long-term corporate viability. On a macroeconomic scale, managing global interdependence requires a move towards collaborative, non-zero-sum models. This shift accepts that one group's disadvantage eventually becomes a systemic problem for everyone. Traditional sustainability frameworks are expanding to match this reality. To the environmental, social, and economic pillars, we are adding a fourth, the human pillar. Economic resilience requires ongoing investment in human health, character, and cognitive development. Physically, these principles manifest in the circular economy. Global brands are reconciling massive industrial output with environmental preservation by embracing sufficiency, designing business models around the concept of enough rather than infinite extraction. Major global retailers like H&M, Patagonia, and IKEA have launched large-scale take-back, repair, and textile recycling initiatives to extend product lifespans and keep materials in use for as long as possible. True economic health now demands evaluating the long-term ripple effects of today's supply chain choices to ensure they do not compromise intergenerational prosperity. The consequences of this transition are deeply personal and urgent. The scale of the current transition is stark. While the Industrial Revolution required 7 million workers to learn new skills, the shift toward a wisdom-centric model directly affects over 1 billion cognitive workers. During the Industrial Revolution, workers had to learn new technical skills. Today's reskilling imperative is different. It is about cultivating human depth, inner clarity, and relational intelligence. Institutions are forming to meet this need. Dedicated wisdom schools and midlife mastery programs are emerging to guide adults through profound vocational transitions and identity-level reorientation. The ultimate competitive advantage in the 21st century economy will not belong to those who possess the most facts. It will belong to those who actively cultivate the empathy, foresight, and ethical clarity that a machine can never replicate.